Two stars, shining their brilliance for over a decade in the cosmos. One day, something happens, and the two stars begin collapsing in on each other, forming a new, less brilliant star. The universe is unaware of its loss. This new star is the only one aware of the two missing stars. Does the universe even care that it has lost two of its lights? And if that one star figured out a way to bring back the other two, would the universe care that it sacrificed itself? As we journey through the rift, I want to ask a new question. Why can't all three exist? And welcome back to episode 11, part 2. We're going to jump straight into it just like we did in the previous episode, but while you guys are watching the time lapse of stuff that I haven't done yet, I'm going to go fix up my tools because we've been gathering a lot of resources, and our pickaxe? Yeah, our pickaxe is nearly broken, as you can see. It's on its last legs. Yeah. Our axe is barely broken, and so is one of our shovels. And this shovel does need a little bit of repairing too. And yeah, that's what I'm going to get into while the time lapse is going. So I hope you guys enjoy. So grab a drink, grab a snack, let's crank up the tunes, and get this time lapse rolling. And I hope you guys enjoyed that time lapse. We got a little bit more to talk about, and I'm still not finished with it. We did just have some microphone issues. I already recorded this clip, and there was absolutely no sound. So I decided to just delete it and try to redo this. But yeah, let's take a wander over here and see what we got going on. Now, as you saw, we built the outside, we did some of the interior work, and we're just going to jump right in here. So for the outer section of the floor, I decided to go with this bubble coral. There is water underneath it so that it doesn't dry out and become dead coral. And then in the middle, we got this glazed purple terracotta, along with a birch border going on. And I didn't know what to put in these corners because, you know, with the birch, it can only face one way, and I didn't want to have like odd things going on with it. So I just put the chiseled stone brick right in the corners there. I think it works. I'm still debating on if I should put something on top of that or not. Probably not going to because we did go with a slab roof ceiling, a slab ceiling for this. And we got a little bit of design going on with that, and then lanterns all the way across. And you probably saw it up on the second floor, I think it was. I don't know, I'm not currently looking at the footage. We got redstone lamps hidden there that helps with our lighting, keeps this place nice and bright so that things cannot spawn in here. Then up on the second floor, we wanted to try and tie in that purple theme up here. So I got plenty of crying obsidian from the piglin bartering farm. So we used some of that here in little patterns around, as you can see. And then we used a little bit more glazed purple terracotta up here. A bunch of just raw blackstone, some polished blackstone, and then polished chiseled blackstone bricks, if I've got that right. That's a mouthful. Now, with all the lanterns around, we did go with polished deep slate on that. I wanted it to be slightly different from the blackstone bricks going on. Originally, I was thinking of using polished blackstone here, but I grabbed the wrong thing and then put it up, and I was like, you know what, that does stand out a little bit. We're just going to go with it. So yeah, we continued that around, and same as before, we got redstone lamps hidden in the poles so that it keeps the whole room nice and bright. Now on the third floor, we haven't made a floor design yet for it. Uh, this is, as far as the interior, this is about as far as I got. Well, actually, it's slightly further. We didn't actually do a floor design in the creative world, but yeah, that's about as far as I got with the interior. Now, as far as the roof sections, we're going to have to start doing some changes here. Technically, you don't need to know this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I kind of messed up here. There's supposed to be an extra block, an extra 2 spaces here. Actually, it may be 3. So there should be like 2 or 3 spaces between these 2 pillars. Unfortunately, I made this too close, and if you look, we're right on the edge. So we don't have enough room for that. It's fine. I'm just going to adjust the design based on that fact. It is kind of a minor inconvenience and something you guys really didn't need to know, but it was kind of funny as I started looking at it. I was like, oh no. But yeah, so that happens. I'm not immune to making mistakes either. Now, as far as the roof is concerned, we are in need of copper. And looking at our copper field, it does look like a majority of it has, in fact, oxidized. Grab some food real quick. Now, one of the things I was not aware of, and now I am, is if lightning happens to strike any of those, it will deoxidize them. So we're going to need wax. Quite a bit of wax. Luckily, we have a bee farm. It almost seems like it was meant to be. Okay, that wasn't actually a pun, and that's why I paused. I was like, oh. That was not meant to be a joke. If you laugh at it, good on you. That was completely by accident. But yeah, we should have plenty of wax to get all of these covered up in wax, and we do have a little bit more down in the chest down there, the shulker box. Speaking of which, let's go down to the shulker, because probably everybody is going, oh no, he's got a shulker monster. No. No, 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 I don't do that. Uh, Pretty much everything in here is either stuff that I was gathering as I was doing some terraforming, like we got dirt over here. Sorry, the grass here. The dirt's in this one and that one. And then we got our brown wool from when we were laying out paths and everything on top of the mountain. I do believe this is the light gray wool, and then we got the blue wool here. I had to make an extra chest. I accidentally made a few too many iron bars. And then we put our stained glass in here just to have somewhere to store it for a moment. And then over here we got acacia that we chopped down. All of this is our various spruce wood items. This one here is our barrels for making our pillars. And then we got jungle wood over here. I brought the jungle wood because originally in my creative world, this section was jungle wood. But as I thought about it and looked at it and looked at it and looked at it, I was like, no, jungle wood is just too ugly. So we just went ahead and did spruce. There is quite a bit of spruce. And to change it up a little bit, we used oak here for the windows. And again, this is a gray stained glass there. And the rest of these shulkers are pretty much, they're already sorted. So we got our copper over here. Most of these are a mix of cobblestone items such as stairs and slabs and just regular cobblestone, and then stone brick, stone stairs for our road system out there, and then black stone over in this corner, and yeah, this is where our polished granite is. We probably need to go get a little bit more because we're going to need a lot of it for the city. And then over here I've got the sandstone. So yeah, it's not a shulker monster, I promise. It is all sorted, all where it belongs. And same goes for this box. All this stuff belongs in here. It is where it is supposed to be. You may be wondering why the glass is there. That's because using it in front of lampstones, redstone lamps. Lampstones? What's a lampstone? So yeah, all this stuff is in here for a reason, for a purpose, and it is definitely not mixed up in any form or fashion, with the exception of this one brown shulker here. This was kind of my dump area as I was clearing out different blocks. So occasionally we had to mine up some stone and we'd get gravel, we'd get diorite, we'd get sand. And we did misplace one coral block. It ended up dying. Or this particular one ended up dying because we misplaced one of them. That's why that's there. And then this is our leftover glazed terracotta. I will be sorting this out eventually and moving it to where it belongs and removing these seeds and just absolutely deleting them, because otherwise seeds just overrun everything. You honestly would not believe just how many seeds you get trying to do massive work like this. But yeah, that's our shulkers. That's what they're all there for. And then we got a little crafting setup here for whenever I need specific blocks or I run out of them. But yeah, we got a lot more work left to do on this. So without further ado, if you've finished your drink and snack, grab a new drink, grab a new snack. Let's crank up the tunes and get this time lapse rolling one more time. Okay, take two. Let's do this again. Uh, Apparently the mic wasn't recording yet again, so we got an entire video or a clip of no audio. Yeah, that's always fun. All right, so as you can tell, we are in my creative world. It's one of a couple of different creative worlds I've got, and yeah, the reason we're here is uh, we lost the footage for the rest of the build on town, the town hall. Uh, yeah, it kind of got corrupted somehow. According to Replay Mod, it had 17 hours of gameplay. That's not right, and that's like the second or third time that's happened to me. Replay Mod has been a pain in my butt today. We're just going to leave it at that. It's a great mod, love it. It's just being really rude to me today. So up behind us, now in front of us, because we turned around, we got the camera where it should be. Yeah, if that makes any sense. You got what was the start of my library build, and we kind of did this up in a live stream a while back, and I wasn't too thrilled about this was the original dimensions of it, but if we come up here to this level, because I wanted two walkways, um, well, I wanted two floors. We're probably going to have to make it much taller. Ignore that for a moment. That's the actual library. So if we come over here, you can see that we've got one block space walking between these pillars and these pillars. I wasn't too thrilled about that, so we expanded the size of it. As you can see, this is just over half of the actual build that we ended up coming up with. So if we come around here, ignore the outside. It needs work. I've got to figure out the outside. I haven't come up with a good idea on it just yet. So we come in here, and yeah, it's pretty grand. It's pretty epic. I am loving it. We do need to potentially put a whole nother floor in it to make it taller. I'm not really sure as of right now. And one of the problems we had is lighting, as you can tell from the bat. Yeah, the the bats are everywhere, unfortunately. So what was suggested to me was making desk with candles. Now, unfortunately, in order to stop the spawning of bats, we absolutely had to have 4 candles every time. You look at all these. We did 3 there just to kind of vary it up, but it's just not enough lighting. It's got to be 4, unfortunately. So we got candles everywhere in here on these desks. I do need to add more desk in here at some point. Right now, it's still a work in progress. I'm trying to think up ideas for it because back here we got like nothing. There's no desk here. If we go up here, you can see we got a little kiosk area set up over here, which I plan on putting a librarian in. I don't know how I'm going to keep him in there just yet. He may end up just sitting in a minecart right there where the chair is supposed to be. That may be the best way to do it instead of letting him wander around. And up here on the second floor, you can see we went with a similar design palette as far as the floor that kind of imitates the one on the bottom. That floor pattern was based on an actual floor that I was looking at. Unfortunately, trying to translate it into Minecraft blocks is a little bit of a problem. Yeah, we did the best we could. It looks all right. It's not the best. And then on the sides, we went with a lot of spruce there. Uh, Trying to continue the design out that way just was not working. And I do like the look of this a little bit better, though we may end up extending these lines over one more. I'm not sure as of right now. I do like the overall shape. And so we come up here, and as you can see, we've got 3 spaces in between the 2 different pillar types, which I think is a lot better. And I do mean a lot better. Obviously for walking through here, mostly. But yeah, that's the library. The ceiling is kind of something I just kind of threw together. Over here, this line just kind of doesn't continue, it just kind of stops. We need to fix that at some point, though I'm not really sure how to go about fixing it. The roof has a few different flaws in it that I need to iron out. I'm not really sure as to how to go about it just yet. And definitely the outside. The outside is just kind of bland and boring. It looks a little too modern too. It doesn't look steampunky enough. We gotta work on some ideas for that at some point. Now over here we got a couple of builds for the town, and these don't have roofs on them. Like the roofs go up another 6, 7 blocks. So probably about here's where the roof ends, and as you can tell, we're way above the library. I don't like that. We need to make the library much taller. Like, I want that to be one of the big buildings in here. And if this is the size that we're going for most of the houses and businesses in our town, uh, that library needs to get a lot bigger. I don't know if we're going to do just taller or possibly expand the size of it. I don't think the plot of land that I have picked out for the library is going to be big enough for it to be much wider than that. So yeah, that may change, and we just may make it like taller. Um, yeah, I'm still out to court on that, still trying to figure it out. Then over here, and you can also see the roads down below us. It's kind of trial and error of like going through different block combinations, seeing what works. I still think the dead coral would have been the best. The problem was we didn't have stabs. We didn't have slabs and stairs for the corals, so unfortunately we had to throw that idea out. I still think this looks the best for what we're going for. Unfortunately, we just don't have the right blocks for it. And before anybody says it, trying to mix in cobblestone with that, it just doesn't look right. I'll give you a quick example. And the reason for it, okay, yeah, that's fine. So as you can see, we got a very gray color here, and the dead coral's kind of got a brownish color to it. And I just didn't feel like that fits together too well. So yeah, we just decided that that is not the best way to go about it. So the dead coral is still my pick for the roads, but it's just kind of limiting without the slabs and stairs. So yeah, we ended up going with cobblestone on everything simply because while the deep slate looks good, it just doesn't look. It just doesn't have that texture that I was looking for as far as a cobblestone road is concerned. So yeah, we unfortunately had to go with just plain cobblestone with everything. But yeah, that's kind of the limitations of Minecraft. And over here you can see that I was designing up more of the road, comparing it to the deep slate, trying to get a feel for it. And eventually I just kind of fell in love with the granite on the sides. Like I think this looks a lot better, breaks up the grays quite well. And I'm contemplating putting like a center area, like a little park in between the roads. Yeah, we'll probably do that at some point. I haven't quite figured out exactly where I want to because these roads are actually quite wide. And unfortunately, the area we got to work with as I was building up everything in the last episode of the last part, I actually talked about how, yeah, these builds are quite big, and the area we picked out is kind of small. These two buildings are actually missing a whole nother section. So this one here should have gone to about this line here. So we ended up cutting off a section just so we could fit it in here. I wanted to get two different ones in here and kind of play around with the blocks. And this one again is also missing a whole nother section on it. And yeah, it was just kind of an experiment on seeing what we can make and what we can come up with given the limited area right there and the blocks, because I was definitely trying to make it feel steampunky. And yeah, these definitely feel a little bit more modern than steampunk, so we may throw those ideas out and start working on our own ideas. So over here, we've got the town hall. And as I stated earlier on in this episode, yeah, we accidentally made this section a little too small. There should be a whole nother block on this side and a whole nother block on that side. Unfortunately, I didn't map out where everything needed to go correctly, so we ended up being a little bit short. That's fine. We can deal with it. We can move on and continue with the rest of the build. Now, as you can see, we've gotten up to this section here, and really haven't started working on the tower. There's a few things that has been suggested to me that I'm scraping at in the back of my mind, trying to come up with ideas on what to do. For instance, somebody said we need to have a giant gear on this, and another person had said that we need to do, let me grab this and this. We need to do the outstretches, or the areas that kind of poke out like this and then come up. I am thinking we're probably going to do that with the tower section. Somewhere up here, you will notice that we got sections like this where it goes in, but somebody was saying we need it to go out as well. Like it needs to get larger at some point. I'm not entirely sure where to do that. I was thinking that this section here is going to end like, I don't know, whoops, like right about here. And then this will be where our tower starts. But we could also do the inverse of that and actually have the tower come out from here. And as of right now, I'm thinking we're just doing this on the fly, so nothing's going to be perfect. Like maybe have it start coming out here. Actually, because of the roof line, that's probably not the best idea. Just looking at it, yeah, because we're going to intersect the roof right here. But something like that. We'll figure it out eventually. But yeah, that's where I'm at as far as the town hall build is concerned, and that's where we're at with the library. And again, we're really doing this to fill time. As I said, the replay mod kind of glitched and we lost a little bit of footage there, so that's why the time lapse is unfinished. But I need to get back to the main world, get back to our survival world, that is, and work on a few things there. And I'm working on the edits right now for part 2. A little late. I should have had this all finished. We'll get to why that isn't finished when we reach part 3, or more correctly, the end of part 3. It really, like, we're going to break one of my rules here. I know in the stories section we talk a lot about Hermitcraft and all that, but if you are a fan of Hermitcraft, then you know what I'm going to say in part 3, or what I'm going to talk about in part 3. So yeah, just wait for that to come. We are going to do something as far as that's concerned. Look at me, I'm tripping over words here. So yeah, let's get back to the main world, and we'll worry about that when part 3 comes up, and hopefully I'll be able to record that without breaking down on anybody. Yeah, it is some big news, and if you haven't heard, how are you hearing it from me? Like, I should be the last person in the world that you hear that from. Anyway, let's get back to it. And we are back on my survival world, and you may recognize where we're at right now. We are at my Froglight farm. Reason being is this is actually where I left off at. I was just over here AFKing to collect some more Froglights, and I figured this would be a good place to tell you. Cliffhanger. This is the end of episode 11, part 2. I'll see you guys Friday for part 3. Bye!